We're so happy you're here. And speaking of the transition, boy, did you have one landing here when Tropical Storm Debbie was coming in.
You're telling me. So it was surprising, and we arrived, and my predecessor, he had to go get his family out, like a lot of our citizens were doing in the local area. And boom, I got introduced to the city of Savannah, the emergency services of Savannah, and what our military is doing here. And it was quite the introduction.
What is it like on a base like Hunt Army Airfield when a storm like that is coming in? I'm sure you all have your protocols just like we did to prepare for the storm.
Yeah, we're not immune to the effects of tropical storm or crisis weather. We wish we had a weather machine. Some people think we do. We don't, I'm here to tell you. We had flooding, certainly. We had road closures and housing challenges as well. And just like the rest of the community, we band together. We use the things we've trained for and the things we've prepared for, which I'll tell you, preparedness is the key, both at an individual level and a community level.
We know that you don't do much without support from the community and you supporting us as well. Tell us about that partnership that's going on there at Hunt Army Airfield.
So much partnership. If I could I should carry around a list of all the different partners we have in the business world, here in the government community. I mean, right here with WTOC, it's a partnership, right? Getting the message out, communicating. And that's what I would say number one with our partnership is communicate. Communicate what the military is doing in the community, how the families are acting or reacting in the face of adversity. We had some units recently return from a training rotation at the National Training Center, gone for a few weeks, so their families were behind, and just a few months ago from Poland. So I would say the partnerships to support the soldiers, the servicemen, their families, retirees, a very big population here, and then what the community is doing also to support, and we want to go out and support them. And I want to talk about something. I hope you're taking me there.
Oh, yes.
September 11th Memorial.
Yes.
Something very big that Hunter Army Airfield has partnered with the city of Savannah. And frankly, they're doing the lion's share of their work. We're putting on something called Night of Honor on September 6th, and then the Patriot Day 5K on September 7th. And these two events are meant to showcase, memorialize our service members, first responders, police, and fire. Friday night, we're going to bring out some helicopters and trucks and service members and fire trucks and all of these things out to Daffin Park. And we're inviting the entire city. Come out, interact with us, touch a truck, climb on a helicopter, and just interact. Meet the service members. The very next morning, the U.S. Army parachute team, the Golden Knights, they're going to skydive in to Forsyth Park, and we're going to kick the run off that morning. We're going to run 5K, hitting some squares in downtown Savannah that are in memoriam to those service members and first responders that lost their lives, and then all of those for 20 years after that that served in defense of our nation.
Speaking of success, I was reading a little bit about your career. Some more than 21 years you've served our country. Any proudest accomplishments or that you would like to talk about?
So we were just speaking before this. My wife and I just moved from the U.S. Embassy in Rome, working in conjunction with the U.S. State Department and our foreign partners. I'll tell you that was a very rewarding experience, something a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I'm very proud to have done that. And immediately before that, I was part of the withdrawal from Afghanistan and the resettlement of quite a few refugees.
We've watched all this on television because now we can watch almost everything on television. And we're all just devastated by what we saw. I couldn't imagine being there on the ground for that. And I know that you have all this military training and you all are trained to be tough men and women, but it has to touch you when you see things like that happen.
Certainly, yeah. Anyone who's served in defense of our nation, and as we close hostilities and we end a campaign, it's touching to you. And certainly the resettlement of Afghan refugees was a very difficult thing to do, a difficult thing to see from afar, a difficult thing to see up close. But our service members and our State Department did amazing work, and I couldn't be prouder to have been part of it, and I couldn't be prouder to call myself a service member.
Well, thank you so much for your service.